What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here. In this one, we're going to be giving my post-game reaction and analysis and key takeaways from the Big Ten Championship as Michigan wins their third straight Big Ten Championship. Also going to be going over Michigan becoming the #1 team and playing Alabama in the college football playoff, and also what some players and coaches are saying after their Big Ten Championship win and looking ahead to the playoffs. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Michigan football is ranked as the #1 team in college football in the national polls for the first time since January of 1998. And obviously, most importantly, Michigan is ranked #1 in the college football playoffs, and they will be taking on #4 Alabama in the Rose Bowl at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I will talk about that later in the video, but Michigan has won their third straight Big Ten championship, beating Iowa 26-0. They are back-to-back-to-back Big Ten champions, and it wasn't pretty, at least on the offensive side, for both Michigan and Iowa. It was really Michigan's defense and special teams that really surged through for this Wolverines football team. And so let's go ahead and start with the defense, and actually first with the special teams, with Samaj Morgan, the freshman, coming in. We all knew how good of a punt returner he was in high school when he played at West Bloomfield. He has been getting reps in at practice, he said, and Michigan finally put him in game action, and he took it, I believe, 87 yards, ran out of gas at the end there, but man, he put on some nasty moves, made a lot of people miss, and really opened the game up early for Michigan as they went up 10-0 and scored a touchdown on that drive. Not only that, but James Turner was perfect in this one. He went 4 for 4 for field goals, including a long of 50. That's back-to-back weeks now he's hit a 50-plus yard field goal. He has been money recently. Tommy Doman always gets it done. He is an outstanding punter for Michigan. And then Michigan's defense. Michigan was without Will Johnson. He didn't start in this one. He was questionable coming in. I think Michigan, they just want to keep him healthy for the playoffs. And quite frankly, I mean, they really didn't need him in this one. A lot of players stepped up. Mike Sainristil won the Big Ten MVP. He had a phenomenal game, 2 forced fumbles in this one. And Michigan had a total of 4 sacks, 1 by Mike Sainristil, 1 by Braden McGregor, 1 by Jalen Harrell, and 1 by Derek Moore. They also had 5 tackle for losses, and this defense forced 3 fumbles. Again, 2 by Mike Sainristil, 1 by Chris Jenkins near the goal line, which set Michigan's offense up nice for another touchdown. So this defense was, very, very good, and it's really the reason Michigan had their 2 touchdowns in this one. Iowa never entered the red zone, got over the 50 a couple times. One time Michigan, forced a fumble, and they also stopped them on 4th and short. Iowa tried to do a quarterback sneak, didn't work out. So this defense, they were flying everywhere. And you look at the Michigan offense, I mean, yeah, we could sit here and complain about it all we want, but I mean, we just beat Iowa in the Big Ten Championship 26-0 to win our third straight one in a row. And we're heading back to the college football playoff, and we're the #1 ranked team in the country now. This Iowa defense, they were very, very good against this Michigan offense. Michigan without Zach Zinner clearly, did affect them a little bit. Iowa had 4 sacks in this one. JJ McCarthy was taking some hits. He didn't have a bad game, though. I mean, he went 22 for 30, 147 yards. Didn't have his best game, but he also didn't make mistakes, and he did what he had to do to win this game. A lot of times Michigan, they felt like they were driving, having a good drive, and they just shot themselves in the foot with a couple of penalties, a couple of holding calls, so that hurt them a little bit. But obviously against Alabama in the playoffs, they're going to have to come ready to play. However, this Iowa defense, one of the best in the country, and they really gave this Michigan offense some fits. I believe it is the first time Michigan hasn't scored 30 points in a game this season. So Blake Corum, he made history in this one, tying the record for the most rushing touchdowns by any Michigan player with 55, as he ties Anthony Thomas, and obviously he will have a chance to add on in the college football playoffs as Michigan continues its quest for a national championship. But he had 2 touchdowns in this one, 16 carries for 52 yards. Donovan Edwards had 4 carries for 28 yards. Kalel Mullings 3 carries for 15 yards. And we did see Alex Orji get in the game. He had 2 carries for 9 yards. As far as receiving goes, there were a couple of dropped passes in this one, particularly by Colston Loveland and AJ Barner. Very uncharacteristic of them, but those 2 drop passes did stall 2 Michigan drives on offense. But Cornelius Johnson had an amazing game, 9 receptions for 64 yards. Colston Loveland had 3 receptions for 22 yards. Donovan Edwards 4 receptions for 19 yards. Rowan Wilson 1 reception for 14 yards. AJ Barner 1 reception for 13 yards. Peyton O'Leary also had a catch in the game, but in total Michigan had a total of 213 yards, 147 passing yards, 66 rushing yards, and obviously no mistakes in this one. Mistake-free football, and that's exactly what you have to do against an Iowa team like this. Iowa on offense, by the way, had 155 total yards and only 35 rushing yards. But all in all, Michigan wins their 3rd straight Big Ten championship, and they're headed back for the biggest goal now, the national championship. Now, after the game, Jim Harbaugh and some Michigan players spoke on winning the Big Ten championship. Jim Harbaugh talking about the game, he said, uncharacteristically, we had some drops, and uncharacteristically, we had some protection issues and things that we'll work on. And he said definitely Zach Zinner was missed, but McCarthy never hung his head. He never got on anybody. He has just got this demeanor, and the more you hit him, the more he is just motivated to come back, which is amazing. And yeah, he said we're just gonna enjoy this one. We're gonna enjoy this one for a few days. The team will have a week off, but our mind will get on a one-track mind to move on to the playoffs and find out who we're going to play. Then the team still has more goals to accomplish. Jim Harbaugh also insisted that Tony Petitti handed the trophy to Zach Zinner, so that was pretty cool. I didn't really get to see much of Tony Petitti. I wonder why, but Jim Harbaugh also, during the college football playoff selection show, after the rankings came out, he said that our players came up with this bet, admitting that he had to look it up, but what it means, he said, but what it means to me is bringing everyone together. And he said that's what our team has done, so bet. Blake Corum, after winning the Big Ten championship, he said, to have 3 back-to-back Big Ten championships, it's a wonderful feeling. We've kind of changed the narrative of how people look at Michigan, so back-to-back feels great. And he said, but like I always say, like Kobe Bryant said, the job is not finished. We set these goals at the beginning of the season, and we hold ourselves to such a high standard. We must accomplish those goals. And Blake Corum, playing Alabama in the playoffs in the Rose Bowl, he said, we're not going to go in there saying, oh, this is Alabama, a team that's 1-1. He said, no, we're that team. Chris Jenkins, also on Alabama, he said they've got big boys in the trenches. They can run the ball. We'd like to consider ourselves a physical team too. We've got big boys. We got a lot of talent in the trenches. Definitely going to be a gritty game. But he said those are the games we live for. So it should be a fun matchup between Alabama. Personally, I love it. You know, I want a shot at Alabama. I want to take the SEC champ down. But I do feel a little bit bad for Florida State. You know, I feel like they should have gotten the chance to play for a national championship regardless of what happened to their starting quarterback. I think they got hosed by the committee. That's just my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below your guys' thoughts on all of that. But Michigan, number 1, taking on number 4 Alabama in the Rose Bowl on January 1st on New Year's Day at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Cannot wait for that matchup. But other than that, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. And other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.